The Fishing Paper Show is proudly brought to you by United Fisheries, bringing fresh fish to your plate.
Let's have a look at some of the settings we can adjust on our sounders that can have a dramatic effect on what we see and the fish we find. Firstly, fish symbols. If you use these, turn them off. You'll find you get a far better picture without them. It may take you a bit of getting used to understand what you're seeing, but it will be worth it in the end. People like fish symbols because it gives them a clear screen with some happy smiling fish on it. But the problem is, to show you the fish symbols, the sounder has to mask about 40% of the information received, meaning you may miss some fish. But not only that, it will also depict fish where there in fact aren't any. Look at this picture with fish symbols on. You'll see that our image is shown we have quite a few fish down near the bottom and also some fish near the surface. This is also being shown on a clean white screen with no background noise. Now let's have a look at the exact same screen with fish symbols turned off. Firstly, let's look for the fish that it showed us near the surface. As you can see, these don't actually exist and were in fact surface noise. What about the fish symbols near the bottom? Well, they exist, but there are now far more echoes than there were fish symbols. Another good reason to turn off fish symbols is without them you'll be better equipped to determine what fish species are actually there. So make those adjustments, get out there and give it a go.
And some more helpful hints there from E&L. Guys, it'd be certainly helpful if you... can you use fish finders for salmon? I mean, you go up rivers with a jet boat, but...
Yeah, don't seem to see too many people doing it, but yeah, I mean, I would
You'd need
imagine...
deep water though, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, you've got this side view sounders now, haven't you?
Yeah.
I thought that'd be a great asset on the river, yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Now, just before we go to the air, take to the air with Steve, you were talking about the tackle that you had before. Somebody getting into salmon fishing, is it very expensive?
No, it's not, Crimpy. That's the thing. I mean, we're so very fortunate to have this salmon fishing on our doorstep. And for anyone with a fishing interest, salmon's, Canterbury is the heart of it. You can spend as little as $99 in any retail store to have yourself a general purpose fishing set like that, what we call a fixed pool set. Yeah. It's a very cheap entry level set that we've never been able to offer such good gear at such cheap prices. So,
okay, Steve, part of your job in all seriousness with Fish and Game is to monitor the health of the fishery. So over the years, we've had good years and bad years, So just how healthy is the salmon fishery?
Well, again, it's like you say, it goes up and down. It's a bit like a share market. It's hard to predict how it's going to be from year to year. And I guess at the moment we've seen a series of years where the run hasn't been sort of at its historic peak. But I guess there's any chance it can come back this year. And certainly a couple of years ago we had a reasonably good year. So.
Now, you've been keeping tabs on the fishery for some time now involving helicopters. So we've got some footage that we'd like to take a look at now, and I think you're going to enjoy this. Talk us through this. What exactly are you doing? So
we basically, on a fortnightly period throughout the peak of the salmon spawning season, we fly the key spawning streams in both the Rakaia and Waimak catchments. We know where 95% of the salmon spawn in each of those catchments, and we fly them basically at the power pole height that you saw the helicopter on that previous shot. Takes about 5 hours, and we count all the salmon we see, and then we've got a computer program that NIWA have developed that we throw the numbers into, and it spits out a number of salmon that are actually spawned in each of those streams throughout the season. We have to take into account the average length of time that salmon spend in an individual stream, and that's calculated within this program. So.
There's a very, very healthy looking specimen there, very tasty.
Yeah. Every now and then you get to see some spectacular scenery and certainly animals every now and then. So.
It looks like it's quite exciting fun, but I imagine it must be quite demanding work.
It is. Various people have had goes at doing the job, and you're basically looking down the whole time, and it can upset the stomach a little bit, but someone's got to do these tough jobs.
So what are we seeing here? What are we actually looking at?
These are large shoals of salmon congregating in the headwaters of both of these rivers. Just before they enter the spawning streams, they basically don't. If there's only 100 kilometres of river to get to these headwater streams, and I guess from where they came from in North America, they had up to 1,000 kilometres, so that they enter the rivers and then spend some time before they actually do their spawn.
So that shoal that we saw previously, how many salmon would we be looking at there?
There'd be 300 or 400 in that shoal. It's not uncommon to see that.
So over the course of the season, you're doing this every fortnight. So does that give you an accurate picture of how many salmon have actually come up the streams?
It does. You don't know if you can see it, but it's very easy to count each fish. You don't miss too many when you're actually doing the count.
Well, I did when I was flying with you. I think I saw about half what you saw.
Yeah, it's a bit of a trained eye there, Crimpy.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it for 11 years now. So you tend to monitor change over time. Some years you have a stream that has a better lead in and more of the fish will be attracted to that stream, or you just monitor small changes that help you predict what's going to happen. And certainly seeing those fish congregating at the start of the season gives you an indication of what sort of numbers you like to see during each count, so that if you need to, you can slow down a wee bit, and often you're counting as fast as you can to count the fish.
So over the 11 years, I mean, what predictions have you been able to make?
Dartboard stuff. Yeah. Really. It's pretty hard to predict anything. Honestly, no one knows what this year's going to be like. We all hold high hopes that it's going to be good, and last year there were quite a few 2-year-olds around, so hopefully it's a good sign that there'll be good numbers of 3-year-olds back. So this is basically the salmon. And the spawning stream's doing their thing. They've got a matter of days to live. This one here's spawned. You can see the tail and the fins are sort of starting to rot, and they basically die a short time after that.
So that whole spawning process, how long does that take when they get to that final stage?
2 to 3 weeks on average.
And they spend that whole 2 to 3 weeks, what, spawning? Or is that...
Not all the time. They're pairing up, they're digging. The male does a lot of fighting with other males, as males tend to do, and the female does most of the work. So.
What amazed me that time that I went out with you, lucky enough to go on one of those trips, and we visited that stream there, is just how big those reds are. Yeah, they are very large. Probably 2 metres by 2 metres up to, and a good sized red. So that's a fair amount of gravel that a female...
And they can move, quite large rugby ball size.
Yeah. Is that the reason that they end up rotten and battered at the end of it?
No, I guess all their oils are converted from their flesh into the reproductive organs, and it's just a nature, they die, so they're no good to eat once they enter these spawning streams.
Okay. So, well, there you have it. That's one part of the job of Fish and Game Steve Terry, is to fly around at the end of every year and do the salmon count. Very interesting stuff. We'll keep you abreast of more developments of that, because hopefully I'll get to go on the salmon count this year. Yeah, and just see how many salmon there are up there. Right now we're going to take a short break, and when we come back we go tagging kingfish, and there's a little bit of cooking with Crimpy.